Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. We're here at the Village Hotels in Blackpool, and well, let's be fair, I think we could do with a calm down because we've just had one heck of a night at the darts. What a night we have had. Mark Wilson, Chris Mason, Paul Nicholson. We'll go through the games in a minute as we look back at what's happened, but what a night.
Yeah, for those that actually got a ticket for that tonight, well, what a night they've had. It was just incredible from start to finish for so many different reasons as well. When we break it down in a minute, you can understand why. I loved it. Literally every second of that. I was just saying to Paul before, I can't remember a session like that ever before.
Very, very different atmosphere as well, and that's what I'm going to remember about tonight. Maybe even years, possibly decades after, because there were times when Josh was playing against Michael in the last game of the night and when Litler was playing against Watamina, when they were going for a double. And this is something that a lot of crowds around the world can learn from. If you're there to watch darts, you don't have to be singing in these crucial moments. There was genuine silence on some of these darts. The dart was hitting the board and it was echoing through the Winter Gardens. That was proper drama tonight. Yeah,
they were mesmerised by it. We've had it before, haven't we, when we've done Euro tours. We noticed that when you get one of those games that just literally, they just can't take their eyes off it, and they're so captivated by it, they can't shout or scream, they can't say anything.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, we referenced it in commentary, the Rock game, it went silent. And even Josh, when we spoke to him after, went, I almost turned around and go, what's gone wrong? What's happening? Why has it gone so quiet?
It did in the Watamina and Litler game that I did. It was remarkable because you almost, for the first time, I always felt on comms, I don't want to shout too loud because they...
I've had the same feeling. You think they're going to hear this. It's that quiet, they're going to hear it. And we're sat in a shed at the side of the commentary box. Great position. But you do sometimes think, did they hear that? I don't know. Look, so you guys have been lucky enough to play here. I'm lucky enough to watch it, and I come away tonight. It's one of them nights where you go, "Wow!" I've lucky to do it.
I played in a couple of matches that were similar to that. One was against Phil Taylor in a quarter-final, and it was 10-all. So you can imagine what it was like nip and tuck with the great Phil Taylor, the young pretender, the young buck, and I'm pushing him as hard as I can. And I can remember coming out. I think it was either 6-4 or 5-5, and then coming back on stage and just you could tell they were absolutely engaged in it. And at 10-10, well, the place was going berserk. But while you were throwing, absolute silence. And I was quite used to that, having played it in the Embassy and at Lakeside. That's the kind of order you got. But after playing for a few years in the PDC system, it was a bit more. It was a bit more vocal. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it's one of this. I don't know what it is about this place. It's just one of the most incredible places. I don't know where it's the acoustics or.
I just think it's the fact that wherever you look, I forget who mentioned it the other night. He said, "I'm looking out at the back of the crowd and I can see the bloke at the back of the crowd.
Yes.
I can see his eyes.
Yes, you can.
He's that close to me. I can see him in the eyes."
I was looking during the end of the MVG Rock game, out of our commentary position at the top tier. We're not talking about the floor or the one above that. I'm talking about the one above that. There were people leaning over the balcony as if to say, I want to be closer. I'm not looking at the screen, I'm looking at the stage.
Yes.
They were reacting to the body language of the players because that was what they were captivated by. And then when the shots went in, they could hear it from the very top of the building. I don't remember the Winter Gardens being like that since the 2018 final. That's how incredible it was tonight.
We'll have a run through what's happened. We'll have a look forward to what's going to happen over the next couple of days as well. Thanks to everyone that's liked and subscribed on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube page. If we can ask you to do that. Lots of you watching the preview show. Lots of you getting involved. Thousands of you involved in the commentary last night. The comments section, well, it's an interesting place, I'll give it that. But we thank each and every one of you that gets involved. Before we review what happened tonight, I'm going to run down the list of quarter-finalists. I've got a point I want to make. Jan van Veen, one of the most informed players at the minute in the world. James Wade, what a year he's had. Stephen Bunting, wow. If there's a final, he's generally in it. Johnny Clayton, he is on the rampage at the minute. Luke Litler, we know all about him. Josh Rock, World Cup winner, won onto the tour, having a great year. Gerwen Price last month, near on unbeatable. Andrew Gilding is the other name in that. Now, this is back-to-back quarter-finals at the match play. He averaged a career best here at the match play last time out. He very, very nearly beat it tonight. But what a night for Andrew Gilding. We're watching it. He's gone 5-0 up over Dirk early on. He sees him off 11-5. It's Andrew Gilding's world, and we're all living it at the minute.
Yeah, it's almost like it's the stoic calmness amongst the absolute chaos. And he just goes, oh, what are you all doing here?
He might. His life might change to that because he's a gift now that's going around the world at the minute.
He's such an unassuming, lovely guy. Like literally, there wouldn't be. He would never hear him say anything bad about anybody. He's a very just a simple guy who just plays the game simply as well, which I like. There's no, he doesn't overthink it. He just gets up there and plays darts, and he is an unbelievable player. Like prior to him winning that UK Open, he was hitting 108s, 110s, 100 with ridiculous regularity. So when he won it, I think a lot of people within the media expected people like me and Paul go, I can't believe it. How's he won that? And we didn't. We were like, well, have a look at the numbers, pal. Yeah. They don't lie. Or, okay, it's in a different environment. It's over a shorter race or whatever. If you can do it, you can do it. And he just gets up there, minds his own business, and becomes just at times unplayable. That match tonight is how you play match play.
I love the way he talks as well. He doesn't have too many words to say, but when he says something, it's worth listening to. I've quoted Andrew many times in the last 3 years. Before he won the UK Open, he made the final of the Belgian Darts Open in Weezer. The first time we went to Belgium on the European Tour, and he lost to Chisnell. And he was asked about how he was feeling losing the final. And he said, well, how can I be unhappy? I've just done something that I've never done before. And that can always be a good thing. And I thought, philosophically, that's so smart. And he constantly proves just how good he is. I haven't seen Andrew enjoy a game as much as tonight. Every now and again, it's like he was trying to break character in the wrestling world. He just couldn't help but smile at some of the things he was doing.
He's never going to be the heel, is he?
No, I don't. It's impossible for him to be hated. People were chanting his name. People were singing to his walk-on song. So it's, July, it's late. Andrew Gilding for the Premier League?
Well, who knows? Dirk gave himself a lot to do against Rob Cross. This time he couldn't reel it in. And you mentioned Gilding. He's got his little technique. He's got his ways. He's the type of player, he ain't bothered what's going on around. I almost think he's oblivious to what's going on around him.
I agree. I think he is. And listen, we queued this up because it wasn't really that complicated. You can almost tell what Gilding's going to do. This was about what Dirk did or what didn't do. But we probably didn't factor in that Andrew Gilding was going to go 13 darts, 13 darts, 13 darts, 16 darts, 17 darts. And the shock on Dirk's face, he was like, what on earth? And there's nothing you can do with that. You're talking about 3 12s. Is that possible? Yeah, we've seen it tonight. Actually, we've seen 11 and 2 12s from Pricey. But he played it perfectly, did Andrew. Normally when you start a match, you play yourself in. He literally, from the off, was all over it. He hit 2 180s in the opening leg.
He did.
I think he started with the max, didn't he?
When he started with the max, he had a smile on his face.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Why don't we just keep doing this then?
And then he hit something else, 180, set it up, boom, out in 13. And that does put any player on the back foot, because especially when you know Andrew Gilding, you go, oh no, I'm getting this version.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on, because as good as Gilding was, he's not the story tonight. His gift's the story, but he's not the story. Chris Dolby wasn't great in round one. He played pretty well tonight, and he never got a look in. Gerwen Price, 10 legs in, and again, those pesky commercial ads. I know they pay the bills, I know. had we not have any commercials tonight, Gerwen Price, in my opinion, would have broken the tournament record.
Very much like Litler
he was
in his first game.
116 10 legs in.
Yeah.
In the end, he averaged 108, 11-3. He barely missed. He was phenomenal tonight.
Price said something very appropriate after the game to you, I believe it was, and he said in the middle of the game, I was playing my A+ game in the middle. He's very much staying away from saying that a lot of the time, but when he's saying that, we believe it, and he showed it tonight. I get the feeling there is another level, though. He's going to have this time where I think he might stick in 2 9-darters in the same match.
Well, his PB's over 117 on TV.
That was very, very short format.
Yeah.
But what he's done tonight in a longer format match is he's shown the kind of bursts that everyone can't catch. Dolby did play much better tonight, and he wasn't even part of this game. He said to me backstage when he was walking up to the players' room, I feel like I've just been hit by a steam train. Yeah. And I don't blame him, because Price was absolutely unbelievable tonight.
I've been involved in a game identical to that, where Dolby, they both dipped at the end, but that's normal as you get to the winning line. Well, for normal dart players, when Taylor hit the 9 against me, I was averaging over 100 throughout. We played 23 legs of darts, and all I got was 7. And you stood behind going,
what can you do?
There's nothing you can do. There's literally, you're trying your art out. You're literally giving that hockey and those fans your soul, and there's just nothing in there.
Well, Dolby missed the dart in leg 3. Price 1-4-6 out.
Yeah.
And from then on, it was. I know Dolby got a 1-4-2 of his own, but it was a pleasure to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. I think the way he was able to navigate the board, there was a finish in there where he's got 33 left, and I think it was off an 83 checkout. He hits the centre of the bull, and it is the most perfect looking bullseye I've ever seen. It might as well have been painted by Leonardo da Vinci. And then he has 33 left, and you think, well, he wants to leave something like tops 10s on purpose, but here he's cornered a bit. He's not going to go 13 double 10, so he goes 9 double 12. The single 9 stood up a little bit, and
that was a remarkable dart.
He's got to find the double 12, but he's got to hurdle the flight, and it was like watching Jonathan Edwards do the triple jump. It was perfect.
And there was very much a theme tonight for 2 of the matches, and not for the other 2 matches. Gilding led 5-0, went on to win. Pricey led 4-1, went in to win. Watamina led 4-1, went on to lose. Michael led 4-1 and went on to lose. Right. It was quite a strange feeling about the night in a whole.
We've got to talk about Price's double. I've written the stats down here. 115.64 after 10 legs, 8 out of 12, 67%. He was 73% for the game. And when we told him that, it was like, wow, he said, my double is not very good. Like, wow, 70% for the tournament.
Yeah, the doubling in this event from some of the protagonists has been better than some of their best stuff they've ever done. Price is right on it in that department. Wade is as well. And imagine if they were to go head-to-head right now, the way they're playing.
Well, if we were playing like a game of top trumps, you know, it's crazy. Like
ridiculous.
The standards. There's one flaw to. I mean, doubling's the hardest part of the game, right? Scoring is fairly easy-ish. But Pricey has definitely a flaw in his game sometimes, and it is finishing. And if he starts missing early, he'll miss throughout. If he starts hitting early, look out, because I think possibly the only person in terms of the scoring phase that can match him is Luke Litler. But if his finishing continues to be like this, he's just going to out-finish him.
The scary thing about the finishing from Price is not in the numbers, it's in the visuals. And this is what we're trying to paint on our coverage with talkSPORT 2 and the YouTube channel, because the bulls he was hitting, they were right in the middle. The 10s, the tops, the 12s, they were right in the middle. They weren't anywhere near the edges. They were frighteningly central.
They were. When we spoke yesterday, we previewed today.
Yes.
You said, too much controversy. Jermaine Watamina beats Luke Litler would be the biggest shock in the match play, and people criticised that. They were saying other games, blah, blah, blah. Jermaine Watamina led Luke Litler 7-2, and everyone's going, this is going to be massive. Now, leg 10, I think may prove, this is maybe a silly thing to say given what Littler's already done, may prove to be a defining leg in his life, because he won 7-3, he won that leg, and he gave it the big, I'm still here, look at me. And he came out, and he was a Luke Littler that everyone in the world of darts has gone.
Started the next leg with a 180, and it was either a 12 or a 15 dart leg.
He reeled off 5 on the spin to go 7-7.
Yeah, if he goes on to win this match play, so leg 10 was a 15, leg 11 off the break when he said, I'm still here and everything else, he took 107 out for a 12. Then went 14 for a breaker throw, then went 14 for a hold, then went a 180 and a 15 for a breaker throw, and then went out in 12 with a 120 finish and a 180 in the leg, and the rest is history. You know, that when we talk about players having this ability to play in these spells and have these streaks, there's so many examples this week of players doing that, and that was a perfect one.
I know why Jermaine Watamina lost this match, and why Luke Littler won it, because we were watching this game backstage, and the pattern that I saw happening in front of my very eyes, and everybody heard on talkSPORT, was that Watamina was getting a lot of 1 treble visits. Littler was getting a lot of 2s and 3s. That's where it was. He was getting so many chances to spurt, and Watamina just could not double down on his trebles as much as Littler, and that gift that he's got with those long points in the darts to compact them in the 60 and the 57, and consequently some double switching to the 18s when he needed it. That's what gave him the opportunities to get over the line in the end.
We made a lot about Watamina's record with Littler. He's produced a career best performance against Littler, if you like, in terms of the scoreline. 4 darts he missed right at the end to keep it going, but that's got to give Watamina confidence going forward, hasn't it? But how much does Littler come out of that? What does he take out of that tonight?
Yeah, I'm not sure he would have the free roll mentality like you do sometimes when you face multiple match darts. But Watamina, the version of Watamina that led full 1, that's the version we've been seeing on a regular basis over the last 12 months. This new refined version of Watamina that's a bit more considered, he's careful, he's in control. And all he ended up doing was just feeling this blast from Luke Littler, and then there's really nothing you can do. We speak about Dolby against Price. He was just hanging on and hanging on. He was inevitably gonna miss, and that's what happened, and ultimately Luke Littler got over the line.
I spoke with Mark Elkin, who was the manager of Jermaine Watamina post-match, and I said the best thing that Watamina can do now is go to bed, have a good night's sleep tomorrow, and watch that back.
Yeah.
Because the way he conducted himself in that game was maybe the best I've ever seen from him. I know he hasn't won the game, but he can use what he's done in this game to find a way to victory on the Pro Tour and to be better on the stages moving forward, because the way he responded after taking the lead and when he was roped in, I think his temperament was better in that game than any game he's ever played.
Totally agree.
Well, that sets up Luke Littler against Andrew Gilding in the quarterfinals on Friday night. We know Gerwen Price was through. The only question remaining at this point, who would he play? Would it be Michael van Gerwen? Would it be Josh Rock? MVG, outstanding early on, absolutely outstanding. Opens up with a 150 checkout, races into a 4-1 lead, then goes 5-1 up out of the break. But then Josh Rock started to turn it on. It became a topsy-turvy game, went 9-9, Rock goes in front. MVG somehow finds a 138.
The 138 is just remarkable.
It was unbelievable.
We've had some great 138s over the years. Humphries to win the... Was that the...
World Grand Prix in 22.
Yeah, what a shot.
But we saw from Josh, we mentioned this a lot, we mentioned it with Littler, the good players find a way. Josh Rock was in a bit of trouble. He dug himself out. I think 5 180s in 5 legs in that burst. Did miss a match start to win 12-10, but held his nerve to win the game. What have we found out about Josh Rock tonight?
Well, I want to start with Michael van Gerwen, because that's the best I've seen him mentally be over long course starts. The fragilities are still there. Missed a ton of doubles. You know, and that was a lot of that is down to the Josh Rock pressure, because he began just to start to squeeze him.
And he missed. You're right to point out. He missed 3 darts to go 6-1. He missed 3 darts to go 6-2. 6-1 is different.
The old MVG, you don't miss them. You don't miss 2 of them. You don't miss 1. They're in there. But that's it. He's just not the same player anymore. Still brilliant in terms of entertainment. That was, with that match and the Litler match, they were 2 just unbelievably absorbing games of darts. Even if you're not a darts fan, you just like sport, you'd be hooked now. But honestly, it's not like that all the time, unfortunately. But yeah, listen, we fancied Rock for the very reason how he found a way to win, because just that's what these guys do. They're at the top of their game. They're confident. They feel like they're going to win, then they don't know what it's like to get beat.
It's no fluke, is it? The form, if we'd have gone through the form runners and riders, probably 6 or 7 of them are in the last 8. That's not a fluke, is it?
It's not at all. Josh has been in phenomenal form of late, so has Gezi. If you dig really deep, you know that Andrew's been doing stuff this year. He's making the thick end of tournaments. I know he didn't win the European Darts Grand Prix in Sindelfingen, but he got to the final match and ultimately ran into Gary Anderson, where he ran out of steam. But Andrew's having the time of his life.
Yeah, he's going under the radar a bit, isn't he?
Imagine if he goes on to win this.
That'd be hilarious.
He could be a UK Open and World Match Play champion.
And still not getting still not getting the Premier League.
Unbelievable stuff.
Right, so we know now our last 8. Jan van Veen against James Wade, Stephen Bunting, Johnny Clayton, Luke
That's
Litler,
tomorrow night, isn't it?
Andrew Gilding, and Josh Rock against Gerwen Price. Let's have a look at what's going to happen on Thursday night. Jan van Veen, who has knocked out Luke Humphries, he knocked out Danny Nopper, he's through. James Wade has produced 2 magnificent performances. He's into the quarter-final. Now, we will look at the odds earlier. Where is the outsider for this one? You were gobsmacked by that.
I am, because James is the former champion. This is the first time that Van Veen is playing best of 31 darts at this venue. Wade has done it many times. And the moment it is communicated to James that he is the outsider in this game, he's got ammunition. And he's going to use it. He's going to have the same sort of ammunition as he had against Wessel Nijman, one of Jan van Veen's best friends from the tour, because they've been coming through the ranks together. He'll just say, well, I'll do the same again then. If he finishes the way he has been in this tournament and Van Veen does not close him out when he gets chances, I can see Wade winning this in 26 legs.
Okay. It reminds me of 12 months ago, just over 12 months ago, when James was playing Ross Smith, and Ross Smith's hitting big averages, loads of 180s, and we were all like, nah, Ross Smith's going to absolutely walk through him. What does Wade do? It's more 180s, it's an higher average, and beats him 16-10.
26 legs.
Yeah. And I expect the same here.
Okay, fair enough. Stephen Bunting has not been great against Ryan Joyce. He's not been great against Gary Anderson, and he's through to another quarter-final. Johnny Clayton, he's been involved in 2 really good games, but games he never felt he was going to lose. Clayton against Bunting, where are you going here?
Yeah, and I'm with you. Although they were brilliant games and they were close, we both did them, and we both looked at each other and said the same thing at the same time. He never looked like he was going to win it. Never looked like he was going to lose at any point. Neither of his opponents looked like they could win those games, and I'm going for Johnny again against Bunting. I think he lived a bit of a charmed life against Gary, if I'm being honest. You still have to, if someone misses in front of you, you still have to be there on a double and have to take them out, and I'll give him credit for that. But I don't know. I just think something in the air about maybe an all-Welsh final.
You said that.
That's the one I predicted at the start, and I'm not going to go away from that right now. I think Johnny Clayton is destined to play James Wade in the semi-finals. That's what I believe, because when they go up against each other, greatness is inevitable. Their game at the Masters in 2021 is one of my favourite games of all time. I want to see that game again over a longer format. Okay. I have a sneaky suspicion that the Clayton-Bunting game might go 32 legs. I think someone might win that 17-15, and I'm going to go for Clayton.
Brilliant. Well, that'll be Thursday night live on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube page. We're also on talkSPORT 2 as well on Thursday, so if you've not got the talkSPORT app, get that downloaded. That's Jan van Veen against James Wade, Stephen Bunting against Johnny Clayton. Quick throw ahead to Friday. We'll be previewing it on Thursday night anyway, but Litler against Gilding. Rock against Price. Give me your 2 winners, Chris.
Litler and Price.
Litler and Price. So, based on what I've said, Clayton, Wade, Litler and Price wouldn't be too bad, right?
Not at all. Let's hope that Thursday night is as good as Wednesday night and that Friday night's even better. You get the drill. That's it from Chris, from Paul. Dan will be with you tomorrow night to take you through all the reaction and all the previewing of what will be to come as well. Please like and subscribe. It means the world to us. There's lots of you doing it. Lots of you getting involved. Get involved on the comments. Have your say. Tell us who you think's going to win. Get involved. That's what it's all about on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube page. We'll be back 8 o'clock, I think it is tomorrow. Producer Matt's telling me. Slightly later start. 8 o'clock on Thursday night. Live at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. It's quarter-final time. Strap yourself in. We'll see you there at 8.